Okay, there's the video. Hi.
Hey, what's happening?
Doing good. Doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Hey, thank you for making some time and congratulations, of course, on the latest record, Initiation. This
Thank
must
you.
be well, you tell me how it feels after a project comes out. I don't know if it's exciting, if it's a relief, maybe a mixture of both.
Actually, it's a mixture of different emotions for sure. This is Death Dealer Union is a new project that I joined recently, relatively recent. I started working with them as a guest musician around 2 years ago, but I joined the band a year ago. And it was not something I planned, not something I wanted, and not something I was working towards. It was a surprise to me when the musicians of Death Dealer Union invited me to be their vocalist, because in the beginning, I believe they had the idea for this project to have different musicians. That's why the Death Dealer Union. I believe that's how I understood, at least. And
Okay.
then eventually and we did, some songs together, and we worked a little together. We even did two music videos before they even invited me to be here. But the reaction of people and the way they felt was enough for them to want to continue working with me. And I was very stressed. In fact, in the beginning, I did not accept the proposal to be part of another band, because Infected Rain is a full-time, very needy project,
Right.
full-time touring band for
Demanding stuff.
years now. What?
Very demanding stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is. You need to work a lot, to make things done, and there's many people involved and all that. So there's almost no time. But with the requirements of this band and with the plans for the future for this band, you know, um, they are very respectful towards Infected Rain and the time I need to dedicate to Infected Rain. So it is my side project. I have a lot of fun. Recording, writing, composing, filming with their dealer union just as much as I do with Infected Rain. I apply absolutely the same techniques and the same, type of, like, I'm the same person. I'm influenced and I don't know, guided by the same things when I write. It's not like, oh, okay, I'm going to write this lyrics for this band and this lyrics for something else. It's not how
Right.
it works. It's later on when I apply the music for the vocals that I decide how and what goes with the song. But I just write all the time, and that's why it was very easy for me to take upon another project. And I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not my first time that my band releases an album. I released five full-length albums with Infected Rain so far. We are about to release our sixth one. And
Amazing.
so this sensation of, like, when you release something, when you release something to the world, it's a mix. It's a mix of a relief. It's a relief because finally you work on an album for so long. There's so much people don't realize, like, from the first day you start composing for an album, and then everything that is in between until the day it comes out, it might be like a year or even 2 years of work. So people don't often realize that, and to you it's like, finally these songs are out there,
Yeah.
like, I've been waiting for people to listen to them.
It's like a
So
release, right? Because you've been
it
working on it for
is.
so long.
It is. So that is definitely a very vivid sensation. And then you're a little nervous when you, like, read the first reactions and the first comments, like, what do people feel when they listen to your songs, and how it influences their mood or whatever, like, it's really interesting. You're curious about, okay, what people have to say. But of course, we have to remember that no matter what, we do music for ourselves in the first place. And, we are happy with our music and with our results way before, the people get the chance to listen to it. So
Right.
it's mainly something we do for ourselves. And I know it might sound a little bit selfish, but it's something we need. I don't know. I'm talking about real emotions and real um, relief when it comes to me specifically,
Hmm.
because of how important music is in my life and how important this outlet is for me personally. I think like it keeps me sane, it keeps me going, it keeps me motivated. It's so much, and I'm pretty addicted to that sensation by now. And so that's why I say it sounds a little selfish, but we do it for ourselves in the first place, and we love it. And we, of course, we are very curious and anxious a little bit, and to see what people think about it, and if they could relate or if they could be touched by the songs.
For sure. And I don't think it sounds selfish at all, because I think that when you have that personal touch to the music and you really, can pour yourself into it without, the noise of the general public coming in, I think the people who are really, are your fans can really relate to the music more after that.
Absolutely, yeah, and you're right about that. But again, um, it's okay if you listen to it and it just didn't speak to you. That's why there's so many different genres out there. That's great.
That's very true. Do you read much into sort of that sort of chatter? I mean, I know that you mentioned that you sort of look at it, but I mean, do you internalize much of the negative stuff, or do you just keep it pushing?
Okay, so if we're talking specifically about negative feedbacks or comments, um, I used to, in the very beginning of my career as a musician, in the very first few years of Infected Rain, I was way younger and unexperienced, and internet was a little bit more limited at the time. There was no Instagram, there was no like only a few things were out there,
Yeah.
unpopular. So of course I would sit and take my time and read the comments under like a YouTube music video or anything like that. And yes, in the beginning I used to get really frustrated and hurt by people's opinion that would just say anything they want, really anything they want. Very few people are just genuinely sharing the fact that this music is just not for them, that they understand, how people like that, but it's not for them or whatever, or the song is exactly like, I don't know. I don't know. There are some comments and some feedbacks that, even though they are negative in a way, they are just a well developed thoughts and opinions that you're like, okay, whatever, I get it, no problem. But
Yeah.
when it comes to like hate itself, that doesn't include the critics, I would say. I don't know. I think hate is a completely different thing when you're not, pretty enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not, I don't know, good sounding enough, or you don't growl enough, you don't sing enough, you don't do this enough. There's always not enough.
Yeah.
But when I finally realized that um, the majority of haters that are so active online are unhappy people, unfortunately, people that um I don't know, in a way got punished by by life a lot, and that's their outlet. That's what they are doing, and I should just not think about it, not reply ever. And I promise to myself to never ever reply to anything that is um you know hate hateful, disrespectful, or I don't know, all kinds of that realm over there, everything connected to that realm. So that's
Yeah.
what I did, and that's what I do all the time. And yes, I do read a lot of what's happening online, especially if it's directly sent to me. Then I do, but I just choose if I want to continue, reading this, or I just never engage. I you know just never engage with people, and I it's okay. They, that's what they have in life and they don't know better.
That's the thing, the way I think of it, it's like it's never going to be coming from somebody who's a creative person who makes their own music and something along
Sometimes it
those lines.
does. Sometimes it
Oh
does
yeah.
because, yeah, sometimes it does. Even people that, can play an instrument, they think they know everything about the music industry,
Mm.
and they don't know anything about it. I will tell you, because we just choose musicians and everybody that is involved in the music industry. We choose to keep certain things outside of the reach of the public. Why? Because this is the details of this job, and every job has its own ups and downs, and every job has its own details. Like, being a teacher or being a doctor, there's ups and downs in every single job, and nobody thinks about the things that a doctor often goes through. They just think, oh, doctors do this and this, and that probably makes them happy or whatever. There's so much more in every single job that it's impossible to include people in everything. So no, you don't know everything unless you do my same job. Then it's different.
That's a good point. I mean, what's something about the music business that maybe you wish you did know coming in, that maybe you said, oh, my life would have been easier if I knew that?
um, Maybe this part that we just talked about. I
Mm.
was way more, in a way, naive in the beginning of Infected Rain, and I was, you know, believing that people are not, like, I don't know, that people are not malicious, and people are all good. And I learned in a very hard way that, yeah, no matter what you do in this industry, it will never be enough for everybody. So that's something I wish I learned from the beginning, because it definitely gave me a lot of insecurities. I mean, I still have some of them till now, but the major insecurities I was fighting with at the time, as a young woman in general, and as a very young, unexperienced musician. Nobody cares that you're young and unexperienced. Nobody cares that, maybe you're learning from, like, you don't even have a place to learn from. You don't even have opportunities. You live in such poor country that you don't even have a place to go play shows. No one knows all these things, but you do, and you're like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And repeating that to yourself makes you feel sick. You will feel constantly sick. You will have headaches. You will not like yourself in the mirror, and you will not be happy. And that's so, so, so unhealthy, you know? And people that wrote that a hateful comment probably already forgot about you, and you're still thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's how it works. So I wish I knew that. I wish, like, someone told me and prepared me, hey, there's going to be a lot of comments and feedbacks from people that you might not like. It's okay, because everybody can have their own opinion. It's okay.
That's so true. I mean, it's fascinating to me as well that you're so, aware of the nature of this business and how people can be, insincere and all these things, but you also manage to collaborate a lot. I mean, is it hard for you to pick who you like to collaborate with?
No, because I actually do have one rule when it comes to doing any songs that are not directly connected with my band or bands at the time right now. Every time I pick, every time I'm offered, let's say that every time I am picked and offered to be part of a project or a song or an album, I first of all, I make sure that I have time for it, because I don't want to do anything last minute. I don't work very well under pressure. So knowing that, I accept that about myself, and I much rather not do something than do it and give it only like 50% of my time, my
Yeah.
creativity, and what I could. So that's first rule. Second rule, after I realized that the time works well, I'm listening to the track itself, and it doesn't matter to me if it's a very small, a beginner band, or a very big band that reached out. I don't make differences at all. I am looking into the song itself and seeing if the message the band is going for and the song itself speaks to me, and I can feel something, an emotion, especially if I'm also asked to write lyrics for the song. But if I'm not asked to do lyrics and I'm only featuring on a song, I have to relate to the song. I can't just go ahead and just sing something that is an emotional of a completely different person, that is an emotion I'm not aware of, and it's not going to be sincere.
Right.
Music to me is about being sincere and being real. And there are so many emotions that we can all relate to. And if the message of the band that is asking me to do a feature speaks to me as well, then I take it. That's pretty much the two big rules for me.
So you keep that integrity about it. So I mean,
It's important to me. Yes, it's very important for two reasons, really. It's important to me in the first place. And second, I understand that as a musician, I represent Infected Rain. And now I represent Death Dealer Union as well because I'm part of it. But especially Infected Rain, there are musicians that, are with me for many years and we build something together. I cannot crush what we built by being reckless and taking any type of songs and maybe not paying enough attention to the message that the band was going for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these two things are very important for me. I'm trying to be very respectful to both things.
It's kind of like your next move can erase the last move you just made, right? If you were
and that's a risk you take, absolutely. We've been told many times like that's a risk you can take, not only by collaborating with a band or with a song, but that it's a risk that people just are weird. I will be honest with you, like it happened to us in the past where some fans would say, oh, I just want you to know that this specific festival you will be playing at is considered very Nazi. I'm like, people still use these words nowadays, first of all. Second of all, what am I supposed to do with this information? I'm a band that was called to play for an event that is not political or religious event. And it's a music event. It's a music festival among other bands. Now I have to dig deeper and see who the organizers are and what they are doing. Yeah, I know what this is doing for the youth. This is sharing music with the youth. And whatever the beliefs of the people that are making it, as long as those beliefs are not directly put in from that stage, there's no speakers, there's no I don't know, like people that talk about it on stage and try to, like, I don't know, some sort of propaganda. Like I could go on about this forever. I think you got the message. What I'm saying is it's a risk you take, and there are things that you can't know often.
For sure.
But when it comes to a song, you have the music, you have the lyrics, and you can make that decision. It's easy as that.
No excuses there, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's definitely eye-opening for sure. Maybe going back for you, I'm curious, just sort of, you seem like a very driven person. Like at what age did you really get into music? And even before that, were you always like working throughout your life? Like what sort of upbringing did you have?
My upbringing is a very long story. So it's a very long story. It is a lot of ups and downs. A lot of ups and downs. I was born in a very small country of Eastern Europe, a country that suffered a lot throughout its history, including being part of USSR. So we do speak Russian as well as Romanian in my country. Both of my parents are not directly from the country. They are from different ethnicities. And throughout my life, that brought me to live in different countries. And that's pretty much like my upbringing. I started listening to alternative music around age 13 or 14, and slowly started listening to more and more heavier stuff throughout my life after. I started working very early. At age 16, I was already a part-time hairdresser because I was still in school. And that's why I was part-time. And I went to a hairdresser school while I was in high school and, studied for the amount of time that I needed to study, graduated, and I got hired right away. Despite my age, I got hired, and always worked very hard. But when 2007, around 2007, some of my friends musicians were just rehearsing and asked me to sing something with them just for fun. No, there was no band or anything. It was just musicians playing together. I just, I don't know. I felt like it is something that makes me very happy. I started doing it. Then in 2008, we had our first show. And that's it. That's when I knew that I need this in my life. And I will do everything possible to do this for as long as it's physically possible for me. So as soon as I don't know, I said that to myself. I promised that to myself. I just work hard towards this goal. And eventually this became a full-time job. And I stopped being a hair and makeup artist, which I was already at the time. For many years, I worked in that industry, 12 years, I think. A little bit throughout the beginning of the band. And then eventually we started touring a lot. 2019, we got signed and things were a little bit on different level. So, yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much how everything went.
Wow, that's super interesting. So, I mean, in terms of your days as a hair and makeup stylist, how much of that sort of reflects on your personal style? Because obviously you have a very unique
Well,
style.
thank you. Thank you. I definitely think that I was developing my inner little woman and becoming a little bit more girly around the time where I started studying hairdressing, job, I guess, I don't know, skill. I got curious about looks. I got curious about colors. I got curious about all of that combination, the combining in them together. And soon after I became a hairdresser, I just started experimenting with my looks a lot. And then when I also graduated and became a makeup artist as well, so I was doing both. I was experimenting a lot with the looks and photography. And I started modeling in 2019. So a little before the band started. I'm sorry, when I was 19, not in
Okay,
2019.
got
When
it.
I was 19, I started as well modeling. And yeah, that was around 2 years before the band even started. Um, and yeah, slowly I just really loved that, and slowly I did start to change my looks. So yeah, by the time I was invited to be part of the band, I already had dreadlocks, tattoos, and certain things were already kind of in my style, the way I look. But I do love to change my looks a lot, even drastically sometimes for music videos.
Yeah.
I would say 90% of the music videos you see with Infected Rain are created, my looks are created and made by me. Sometimes I create the looks and I hire professionals to help me because it's a more complex look and there's no time for me to do it for myself. So but yeah, I still love to be the one creating them because I have to be the look in the music video or in a photo shoot. So I like it to feel like it's me, you know?
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
100%.
I
And
use
something
it a lot.
Yeah, no, it's really cool how you sort of, you definitely always change it up. In terms of tattoos, like I see you have sort of like a full arm sleeve. How many sort of man hours went into a piece like that, would you say?
How many what?
Like man hours, how many hours of
Oh,
tattooing?
hours. Got it. Depends. Like this is just black. It's a black sleeve. It's different than when you do like any kind of like details. It's a little bit different. And I did this arm in 2 sessions because it's just black and they use bigger needles and they just go faster, like the canvas like goes, fills in a little faster. So I
Right.
did my arm in 2 sessions. And then after it fully healed, I went in for another like small session for little touch-ups that were needed to be fixed. So yeah, I would say 2 sessions still. It all depends on the what part of the body you get tattooed. Some part of the bodies go slower, some faster. So it depends, yeah.
Do you consider yourself like a part of the sort of community of alternative looks, or is that like is it just a personal choice thing that you do and you're not really part of like a community per se?
No, I'm not really part of. I mean, I guess being in the music industry makes me part of it. But I am not intentionally part of any specific movement. I just try to deliver through my music everything, looks, emotions, messages, everything, ideas, everything a person can be open to see. Like, we open our mind to whatever it is that we want or need in life. We do. Some better than others, but we do. So we start attracting those things. And then you go to a show and a song speaks to you louder than another song. And it might be completely different from your friend that grew up with you and has the same taste as you, but a different song spoke to him. So
Yeah.
it all depends. It's about perspective. But yeah, of course, I mean, it's really nice and pleasant to hear comments and messages when people in general, no matter what gender, no matter what age, tell me how much they get inspired either by the way I look or by my lifestyle or by my music or whatever. It's really inspiring because I feel very how to say, I feel very lucky and um, I don't know, almost the emotion it's a mix. It's a mix of feeling lucky and proud, and at the same time feeling the doubt of feeling unworthy of the attention and the love and the openness of this person that just wrote to you, And I don't know, it's really interesting sensation, but it definitely is very rewarding to hear that, people literally talk about how certain songs or certain albums or the band can save their life, and that's so big.
That's incredible. I mean, is that something you go through a lot though? Like having it be hard to sort of accept that?
I mean, I do because I am a very humble person and I am just a person. I have feelings, I have fears, I have doubts. And yeah, I was never known for having such super big self-esteem. It's something I work on and it's something you realize and understand better when you're an adult. But as a child, it was always there. And yeah, I always, it feels to me now looking back into my childhood that I always tried so hard and I did so much, even unnecessary sometimes, to be good in what I do, to be good at school, to be good in the family, to be helpful for my mother, because I had younger sisters. And I don't know, maybe it's something that just comes from there, that I will do my best to be the best version of myself for my career, for my life, for my fans, for my family, for everybody.
Well, I definitely respect that. And obviously, the new record is out now. Initiation, of course, Death Dealer Union. We want everybody to go and check it out.
Yep.
Obviously, so many different lyrics and so many different vocal styles and patterns as well throughout this record. What was the most challenging part about putting this album together this time around?
I think the only challenging thing for me, it might be different for anybody else in Death Dealer Union. For me, because I am also in Infected Rain, which, as I mentioned, it's a full-time band and we've released so many albums already. To me, the most challenging was to, I guess, to hear people's opinion and because it's the first time I'm part of another album that is not my band. I've done I've done, collaborations on songs, but I've never done a full album and being part of that band, actually. Like I have a side project, which is Death Dealer Union, which is very, very new band, and it's the first album with them. So the people had, I believe, at least, that people did not even know what to expect because it's the first album. Yes, they heard some songs that we released before, but they still didn't know what this will really be, and how heavy, how emotional, or how melodic, or whatever. So that was the main, I think, emotion that I had, which is really cool because, again, as I said, yes, of course, you are very eager and very impatient for people to already listen to your new album because you work for so long on an album. And we finished this album so long ago. It just came out now, but for us, we already, like, we did it long ago, like not years ago, but still
Long
quite
enough,
a
right?
while ago. Yeah. So we are like, oh, finally, yes. So people can hear it too. It's a relief. It's a really nice type of feeling.
And it's definitely an awesome record. We're really happy that you guys are out there, and
Thank
like
you.
I say, congratulations on everything with both bands.
Thank
I don't
you.
know if you guys ever tour through Canada much, but I'd love to catch either group live one day.
Unfortunately, no. So Death Dealer Union does not tour yet,
Okay.
but Infected Rain tried to tour Canada in mm, 2 years ago, I believe. We had a North American tour, and we did have a couple of dates in Canada. And until last minute, we were not sure if we would be able to. And because of COVID, the regulations were a little bit higher than normal, and just the visas did not come in time, like, to go. But so we did not yet, but we really want to. There's a lot of pretty big fan base for Infected Rain and a lot of people reaching out for that. So we will do our best. Unfortunately, it's just not in our power sometimes.
Yeah, well, that'd be great. I'll definitely keep my eyes open for that. Well, thank you so much for your time, Lena. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it, and keep rocking.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.